And a little bit of the smoke smoldering down there as well. We're told it all happened around 8 o'clock in the Bronx. The corner of that building gave way from the ground floor all the way to the roof. Video on your screen shows a cloud of smoke billowing from the building. The fire department says an incinerator shaft inside the 20-story public housing building came down after a possible gas explosion.
It was a big explosion, and it's scary. It sounded like something blew up. I'm very scared. I want to know what's going to happen with the rest of these buildings, because I hope it's not, the same condition.
When I see all this smoke in the store, in the second floor is leave a lot of old people, and I go back to knock the door, get out of the building. The building is coming down.
Some harrowing moments there. Can't imagine seeing that in person. So far, there are no reports of injuries. Mayor Eric Adams says crews are still assessing the damage, and this is a developing story. We'll continue to give you details on what happened.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
And with that, thanks for joining us on Fox 10 Midday. It's Wednesday, October 1st. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell. And as I said, we'll continue to follow that breaking news out of New York, but we also have breaking news that could affect Americans nationwide today. That's the government shutdown.
Furloughed workers, closed departments, and no deal in sight. That's all on day one of the government shutdown. Here's what you need to know. As many as 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed as the government grinds to a halt. But that's not all. Some may even be fired after the White House sent a memo to agencies last week warning of impending offloading plans. Those deemed essential, though, will remain hard at work, manning air traffic control and working in defense without getting paid. With that, essential services will remain in business. Medicaid, Social Security, and SNAP will operate as usual, with the occasional delay in new claims or enrollments. Also on track, FEMA in case of a national emergency, although visitors to national parks may soon see a lack of park rangers and the eventual closure of certain museums. Finally, how long might this last? That's the question on everyone's mind as we enter into the first few days. With congressional leaders and the White House unable to make a deal on health care and expiring Affordable Care Act tax credits, there's no solution in sight as D.C. shuts down for the second time under President Donald Trump, the first since 2019. In Washington, I'm Kate Renee Saff.
And as you just heard, with the shutdown, a number of other services across the country will be impacted. Services including the U.S. Postal Service, air traffic control, banks, courts, and federal law enforcement agencies will remain open during the shutdown. But you need to prepare yourself because you may come across some disruptions or delays with some of the services we just mentioned. In the meantime, several 100,000 federal workers now face furloughs, and essential employees must work without pay. And at the same time, lawmakers here in Alabama are torn on how to react to the government shutting down. One lawmaker says he suspects a very minimal impact on Alabamians, remaining hopeful, but another lawmaker says he's focused on what caused the shutdown.
By and large, I don't think most Americans will know what is happening. And, a deal may be had within the next couple of days, and it will have very minimal impact whatsoever, even on those non-essential jobs.
We're talking about up to a 93% increase in healthcare costs for those Alabamians that are currently in the marketplace. And so we're also talking about the strain and the stress that will be on insurance companies because they'll reduce folks that they're covering, which will then put a strain on providers.
Now, officials say that both sides need to find a compromise where hardworking Alabamians don't lose the benefits they deserve. Well, it's 11:04 now. Time for our first look at the weather forecast. Nick, October 1st, my favorite month of the year, but not really feeling like it.
Not at all. In fact, today's going to be quite hot.
Woo,
We're going to get up
like
there
summer.
around, upper 80s out there today. So once again, we're dealing with this. Don't really see a lot in the long-range forecast for a hope of a cool down.
That's what I was wondering.
Seeing some higher numbers in the long-range forecast.
Okay.
We do get some lower temperatures at the end of the week. Some dry air pushes in, and then some rain pushes.
Typically a
in
drier
later.
month for October,
Yes,
right?
October is typically our driest month. Let's go ahead and get to it. So we're staying warm overall in the near term with some drier air moving in later this week, meaning the mornings will be more comfortable. Rip current risk increasing towards the end of the week. And then at the end of the weekend, we could have a couple showers or thunderstorms to track. Forecast highs today stay hot. They're going to be in the upper 80s, 87 degrees, Calvert, Bay Minette, Atmore, Bruton, Mobile. You get the idea here. 85 degrees in Gulf Shores, low risk of rip currents down there today. Forecast highs over the next 5 days. You see they're warm in upper 80s to about Thursday. Then we go to 85 degrees for Friday, Saturday, 84 on Sunday. This Sunday number is because of cloud cover and rain. Sunday's going to be a more unsettled day, but Friday and Saturday, actually more Friday, the push of drier air comes in here. So I think it will not feel as bad, especially in the mornings. The mornings could be quite decent. I mentioned low risk of rip currents today, but that is getting higher. Look at the red, high risk of rip currents all the way through the weekend. If you have plans to get out there, prepare for it. Let's talk about this rain chance at the end of the weekend. We have to go all the way to Sunday for it. I think Saturday's pretty much fine based on what we're seeing now. But a disturbance in the northern Gulf, this is not going to be a tropical issue most likely. But what we see here is rain moving in through the day on Sunday and into Monday as well. So we're keeping a higher rain chance Sunday and Monday. Be prepared for it if you have outdoor plans. Here's the deal. 10% rain chance through Saturday. An isolated sprinkle cannot be ruled out, but it's the 50 to 60% chance of rain as we get to Sunday and Monday, something to watch out for there. This is not all we're talking about. We also have to talk about the tropics. We have now one active tropical cyclone in the Atlantic. The things are getting a little quieter right now. We'll talk about that and that long-range temperature outlook coming up.
Nick, thank you. Well, right now, mixed signals on the latest Mideast peace plan. A Hamas official says the group is likely to reject President Trump's Gaza ceasefire. But the group also says it remains positive about the possibility of ending the war. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palkot has more from London.
Israeli troops are tightening their control over Gaza City as Hamas considers President Trump's new ceasefire proposal. Israel and its Arab neighbors have already accepted the deal, but on Wednesday, a Hamas official said the group is likely to reject the offer, claiming it only serves Israeli interests.
We're at early stages. They may come back with certain conditions and requests for amendments.
The deal calls for the hostages to be freed and Hamas to disarm in exchange for a phased Israeli withdrawal. Right now, the key sticking point is the timeline for the release of those hostages, which would come within 72 hours of accepting the deal.
We want the hostages back immediately, and we want some good behavior. And, you know, pretty simple. You don't get simpler.
But Hamas officials in and outside Gaza have said it's important to remain positive about the possibility of a ceasefire, while Israel prepares to escalate its offensive if Hamas turns down this deal, claiming it's the last best hope for a diplomatic end to the war.
It all hinges on Hamas, but if Hamas says no, then at least the world knows who's responsible for blocking peace.
Meanwhile, families of the hostages are urging President Trump to keep pushing for peace, warning him not to be influenced by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Mr. Trump, we must warn you, be careful, because he may fool you again.
A decision by Hamas is expected in the next 2 to 3 days. In London, Greg Palkot, Fox News.
And in our local headlines now, a disturbing story out of Baldwin County. Court documents say a man naked from the waist down chased a woman who was walking her dog in a Spanish Fort neighborhood in broad daylight. Andrew Williams now faces indecent exposure charges. Records show it all happened around 9:30 Saturday morning on McFarland Road. That's just north of Highway 31 near Spanish Fort. The report says the victim said Williams first drove past and made a threatening comment, saying, quote, "You better be glad you have that dog." She said moments later she turned around and saw him half naked running toward her. She says she ran home and called the authorities. Thankfully, she was not hurt. Jail records show William was arrested that same day and released the next day on a $1,000 bond. Well, this weekend, you can expect to see more police officers in downtown Mobile. MPD tells us it's increasing patrols around a haunted house because hundreds of teens have been causing a public safety issue there. The teens are said to be gathering near St. Francis and Broad Streets. Police say some of them are simply just hanging out. They're asking parents not to drop off their kids there. And a safety alert for you at this hour. More than 324,000 even flow car seats have been recalled after the company discovered material from the headrest could pose a choking hazard. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, pieces of foam found in the headrests of certain gold Revolve 360 Slim and Revolve 360 Slim car seats are not adequately secured away from the child. The recalled car seats were sold in the U.S. and Canada with a model number beginning with 3681. Notification letters are expected to be mailed by October 31st, and repair kits will be shipped sometime in November. Well, meanwhile, the Mobile Police Department is warning about scammers once again spoofing their phone numbers. Investigators say the fraudsters are calling people claiming they owe outstanding fines. One woman told police she was even instructed to Google the number, and sure enough, it showed up as an MPD line. But police say that number was fake. The scammers then tried to push her to call a second number to pay the fines, but luckily she didn't give out any personal information. Mobile police want to make it clear, officers will never call you to demand payment over the phone, and if you do get a call like this, it is a scam. Meanwhile, the Mobile County Sheriff's Office also sounding the alarm about another scam. Investigators say scammers are using the public jail log to see who's been arrested, then calling family and trying to convince them to pay up. They claim the money will help get their loved one out of jail. But the Sheriff's Office says don't fall for this one. The only people you should ever pay are verified bail bonds companies that work directly with the jail, and you should be the one to contact them. If you think you've been targeted or know someone who has, report it right away to the Sheriff's Office. Well, still to come, Peloton is shaking up its lineup with a major relaunch. We'll show you how AI is playing a pretty big role. But first, a missing little girl, a family desperate to find her, and the four-legged hero who saved the day. We have that incredible search and rescue story for you next. But first, let's check in with Nick.
High temperatures in the 80s in the days ahead. Upper 80s in the near term. Friday and Saturday we get down to around 85 degrees. Sunday 84. But then it's right back up next week. We'll have a look at that long-range temperature outlook and more coming up in your full forecast. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Sunday turned into a nightmare for one Baldwin County family. Their 6-year-old daughter with autism wandered away from home. She was alone, missing, and vulnerable, and her family was desperate to find her. But relief came in the form of a four-legged hero. Meet Canine Artie, a bloodhound with a nose for trouble and a heart of gold. She and her handler, Baldwin County Deputy Joseph Hughes, are more than partners on patrol. Their family.
And my wife said she's basically part of the family. We can't get rid of her. She plays with my dogs every day when we get home and likes to love on my wife and me as well.
When she's off the clock, Artie is all cuddles and fun, but when duty calls, she's all business. Sunday, that business was finding a 6-year-old girl with autism who had wandered away from home. Nonverbal and alone, her family was desperate to find her. With only a scent to guide her, Artie went to work.
Let her sniff the child's, I believe it was a sweater. She used that article to track her.
After nearly an hour, Artie led them straight to the girl, safe, playing inside a nearby shed. But the track wasn't easy.
It was hot, and that kind of plays into the part of the odor that she's looking for. And also there was a lot of foot traffic in the areas that she was searching. So she negated those odors and went and found the little girl.
Artie and Hughes have been training together since February. This was their first real test.
I've been doing this for 13 years, and that was probably one of the best feelings I've had in policing.
At just 2 years old, Artie is already a positive force in the community.
So pretty.
And I will say it was really special getting to meet Artie. She really does have the sweetest demeanor. Deputy Hughes also told me the little girl's family rewarded Artie with a very special treat for saving their daughter. And if you want to learn even more about canines and the incredible work they do, you can find it right now on the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app. Morning anchor Sarah Wall goes in depth not just on how this local dog helped track down that missing little girl, but also on the bigger role service dogs play. From law enforcement to therapy to search and rescue, even helping people when they travel, these dogs touch many parts of our lives. Sarah also takes you behind the scenes, showing what it really takes to train a service or law enforcement canine and just how much they give back to us every single day. You can watch that story now on our website or the Fox 10 Gulfstream app. And don't forget, you can always join the conversation with us live every weekday morning at 9 a.m.
Plenty of sunshine out there, even at the beach where it looks lovely. Look at how clear the water is there. This is Pensacola Beach that you're looking at. A nice picture, a few puffy cumulus clouds off in the distance. That's a really nice one. See the bird diving there. That was cool to see. Now, the beach forecast will get a little rougher later on this week, and we're tracking the chance for some coastal rain. I think this holds off until Sunday, but Sunday and early next week, we could be dealing with some rain. You can see the rainfall totals first along the immediate coast. I think in the next couple of days, this map will change to where we see more rain in our inland spots, and it could be a period of more unsettled weather Sunday, Monday, maybe into Tuesday of next week. Here are your rain chances over the next 7 days. We're keeping a 10% rain chance through about Saturday. Then we bump it up to 50% for Sunday and Monday. What's happening is we have a disturbance over the Gulf. No major tropical issues here. There's just going to be some moisture that rolls on in. Sunday during the day, you can literally see the moisture moving from south to north. And then this continues Monday, Tuesday with the chance for rain showers. Could help us out. We are in a drought. October is typically our driest month, so it's nice that we're getting this little system that's going to roll in. Could help us out with some of these numbers. Futurecast for today, however, mostly dry. We have some upper level clouds that are rolling through. You will notice that. This is 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can see them pretty much sitting over our area, that area of white that you see. By 7 o'clock, I can't rule out a couple of showers trying to develop. Rain chances again, only around 10%. Any shower would be short-lived. Overnight tonight, we're doing just fine. I mentioned that rip current risk going up at the beach. There it is. Low going up to high, 3 to 4 and 3 to 5 feet for Friday and Saturday. UV index staying generally high to very high through Friday as well. We don't get the cloud cover until later on in the weekend. A hot day ahead for the Gulf Coast. 87 degrees in Mobile, 85 in Gulf Shores, 87 Milton Crestview, 87 Pensacola. There's those numbers really going up, or staying up, I should say, in the near term. 87 and 87 through Thursday. I want to note that Friday we get a push of drier air that comes in here. You might notice the easterly breeze. The mornings could feel pretty comfortable, but it's the afternoons. 85 degrees is really not that bad. It's not going to be super warm though. Sunday, that number is down because of the rain chances. And looking at the long range temperature outlook, this is the Climate Prediction Center outlook. Warmer than normal temperatures are likely to occur through October 15th in that 8 to 14 day outlook. All right, in the tropics, Humberto is no more, now a remnant low. You can barely see it. It's just this cluster of clouds here. Imelda is a strengthening hurricane heading towards Bermuda. Hurricane warnings out for Bermuda. Possible hurricane force winds there on the island as it approaches. But other than that, the rest of the tropics remain absolutely quiet. Good news there here as we move into the month of October. Here's your 7-day outlook. So we're dry in the near term. Rain chances only around 10%. And then Sunday, we have that moisture that rolls in here into next week. So a warm start to October with some rain chances at the end of the 7-day outlook.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Nick. Peloton, meanwhile, has a revamped portfolio. The company is unveiling 5 new products, including a less expensive base model and advanced versions of its bike and treadmill. All of these items have improved Wi-Fi connectivity and upgraded speakers. And in response to several consumer complaints, there's also an improved seat for the bikes. Peloton's Plus versions of its rowing machines, treadmills, and bikes also have a feature called Peloton IQ. That's an artificial intelligence assisted feature that serves as a personal trainer, giving feedback to the user. Peloton experienced a sales boom during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, but since then its stock has lost more than 90% of its value. 11:22 on your Wednesday now. The United Way of Southwest Alabama is known for giving back to the community. Coming up, we're highlighting how they are making a big difference locally. A live report is after the break. Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday. When there's a need in the community, the United Way of Southwest Alabama is one of those organizations that answers the call. And today we're expecting to get an update on their efforts. The agency hosting its annual meeting today in downtown Mobile. That's where my friend Stephen Moody is live with a preview of what we can expect. Stephen, good morning.
Yeah, hey, good morning. This is always a fantastic event. You know, Fox 10, we love working with the United Way, and this is their annual meeting that's starting here in the next couple of minutes, and it's all about informing the people of just what's been going on here in our area and how special groups and organizations have been helping to make our communities better. Now, there's different events that are going on, including the Disaster Resilience Program that's happening in Sims in the next couple of weeks. We know that that's going to be great, and there's also special community projects as well that they're going to get into in just the next few minutes. But there are some very special guests here, and Alabama fans will know him very, very well. But Tyrone Prothro is here joining me here live. You had a chance to meet with some of the members of the community, and you're doing some great work here with the United Way here today.
Yeah, definitely. United Way reached out to me just to come and speak and you know, kind of talk about the importance of, you know, a strong community and having a strong community to back you up, and it's a great deal that they're doing.
And I feel like the word of the day is clutch. You made some very clutch catches in your career, and now you're very clutch for some very special young men out in Jasper High School. You have a chance to be mentors to them. What does that mean to you following your playing days to help people in the next generation there?
I mean, anytime I can get to use my platform to, you know, to kind of mentor kids and just, you know, kids that kind of grew up like I grew up, and just a chance to mentor them and be a good role model for them, and it's, you know, that's what it's about.
And when you have organizations like the United Way, I mean, we see the logo behind us. It says Live United there. I mean, it has to be a team effort just to make sure that everyone has what they need to succeed in life.
I mean, definitely. I mean, it's to have them to be in your corner and to make sure that you know, they're out in the community and making sure everybody has what they need. It's a great deal that they're doing.
And I know you are going to be the guest keynote speaker here today. Just can you share some of your message that you're going to be able to share to them in there?
I mean, a lot of it is just about, you know, about my story and just being, you know, faith and being resilient, and then just how the importance of having a strong community played a part in my life.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. We're not going to give them too much. We don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it or are not going to be able to see it. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for joining us here in Mobile today. And thanks to the United Way for having us here today. We're going to have more coming up later on our afternoon show, specifically speaking with the United Way about what they have coming up in the future here in our area. But for now, reporting live here in downtown Mobile, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
All right, Stephen, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing that full report later on. Well, coming up, Alabama's dry weather sparks a statewide fire danger warning. What you need to know to be careful right now. Plus, dramatic footage shows homes collapsing on North Carolina's Outer Banks. What's causing all the high waves? But before we go, let's check in with Nick.
And dry conditions for us for the most part today. Some forecast models trying to squeeze out a shower or two late in the afternoon. We'll have a look at the futurecast and much more as you take a live look at downtown Mobile. A few puffy cumulus clouds, a nice day but warm one. For the Gulf Coast, we'll have more after this.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back in. A judge rejected a bid by Sean Diddy Combs to overturn his conviction. The judge denied Combs' request to vacate his conviction on prostitution-related charges or allow for a new trial. Combs was convicted back in July of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which carry a maximum sentence of 10 years on each count. Federal prosecutors, meanwhile, are asking for more than 11 years in prison. Combs is scheduled to be sentenced on Friday. And listen to this, scary moments in Colorado Springs after a small plane is forced to make an emergency landing. It all happened bright and early this morning, and you're taking a look at video from the scene. According to the Colorado Springs Fire Department, 3 people were on board the plane. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Now, the fire department said the fuel was leaking from the plane, and firefighters worked to stop that leak. Crews so far have not confirmed the cause of the landing. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating. Also this morning, dramatic video shows the moment several homes collapsed due to impacts from Hurricanes Humberto and Imelda. Although the storms are not making landfall, they are causing some problems for residents on the East Coast. 5 homes were destroyed on the Outer Banks of North Carolina when strong winds and heavy surf caused the homes to collapse. The homes were unoccupied at that time. And meanwhile, climate change is being blamed for the massive melting of Switzerland's glaciers. Swiss glaciologists say ice mass has declined by 1/4 over the last decade because of global warming. And they say this year alone, there was a 3% drop in total volume, which is the 4th largest annual drop on record.
Glaciers are clearly retreating because of anthropogenic global warming. This is the main cause for the acceleration we are seeing in the last years. Temperatures are going up, melting is increasing. Snow cover variations in winter can modify the situation in individual years, but the trend is clearly driven by the warming.
Switzerland has nearly 1,400 glaciers, the most of any country in Europe. Climate experts say more than 1,000 of the small glaciers have already disappeared. And they noted the gradual melting of the ice mass has implications for hydropower, tourism, farming, and water resources in many European countries. Well, the Alabama Forestry Commission is issuing a statewide fire danger advisory. As that dry weather continues, the risk for wildfires only grows. Fire officials say that any outdoor burning, including fire pits and open flame charcoal grills, is not advised. Since fall and football season is here, that's of course when most people like to have bonfires or use their smoker to cook. But officials warn that those events can start a much larger fire.
It's best that if you have something, it is not open flame. But if you are going to have an open flame, make sure you have a water source close by. Also, make sure you douse the wood or the embers that you were using for that flame, and then have an ember cover. So on an open burning, there would be a screen that goes on it to ensure that embers don't fly up and potentially get into wild areas.
And if you think you see a fire, don't wait. Call 911. The Alabama Forestry Commission also recommends avoiding driving vehicles or equipment into tall grass, as that can spark a fire.
.35 drive conditions, Fairhope Pier, what we're looking at right now, calm, quiet, a few puffy cumulus clouds developing out there. Our rain chance is pretty low today, only around 10%. So drought monitor, you can see this orange color here. That is severe drought for portions of our area, and then moderate drought pretty much everywhere else except for a couple spots. Now this has not been updated since last Thursday. So we're going to get the update again on Thursday at 8 a.m. Of course, we'll bring it to you right here on Fox 10. Interested to see how this evolves. Some places will probably be worse than they were before, despite the fact that we did get some rain in some spots. Here's what the live cameras look like across the region. You can see those cumulus clouds developing. Otherwise, what a nice picture. It's going to be warm this afternoon, though. Get ready for it. Your temperatures will go up into the upper 80s here under partly cloudy skies, those cumulus clouds I'm talking about. Sunset this evening, 6:38 here. So after sunset, after this time period, it could get a little more comfortable. And in the next couple of days, some drier air pushes in here. So the after sunset temperatures could actually be quite nice. But the afternoons will still be kind of warm. If you have any good sunrise or sunset photos, we encourage you to send them in on the Fox 10 weather app. We would love to see them. Head to the homepage, scroll down to get those in. Also, send us the pictures from the beach. This is lovely. Low risk of rip currents out there today. 82 degrees and east wind at 7 miles per hour. However, the beach forecast gets a little rough as we get towards the end of the week. Look at Friday and Thursday with a 3 to 4 foot and 3 to 5 foot surf. That is going to be a high risk of rip currents. If you have plans to get down there, please be aware of it. And if you do see any of that surf, you can also submit it on the app. Here's that afternoon planner, 84, 85 degrees, getting up to around 87 this afternoon. Peak heating in the afternoon, of course. There is a chance for an isolated sprinkle somewhere. Switched forecast models here to our graph model. You can see it. There's just a couple of specks that try to develop, but really not that much on the board there. Staying warm in the near term. Temperatures pull back with the drier air that comes in at the end of the week. Friday, Saturday, the morning temperatures will be decent. Afternoon temperatures in the middle 80s. Looking long range beyond that, it looks like we don't get down into the low 80s. It looks like we will stay above that middle 80 threshold there. That is average for us, and we're going to be above that. Indicated by these maps here from the Climate Prediction Center all the way through October 15th. You can see those numbers. Quick update on the tropics. Humberto, no more. That is a post-tropical system. Imelda heading towards Bermuda could strengthen here. It is already a Category 2, trying to hold itself together. Otherwise, no development is expected elsewhere in the tropics over the next 7 days. Good news there. Again, here's our local forecast, 10% chance of rain all the way till about Sunday. Sunday is the more unsettled day, so be ready for that. Then we keep that around for Monday and Tuesday. Looking long range, I don't see any low 80s. It looks like it's going to stay warm. How about 89 by next Thursday? It looks like the above average temperatures are here to stay.
Is gaining national attention for its business-friendly climate. Governor Kay Ivey says the state ranked number 8 in Area Development Magazine's 2025 Top States for Doing Business report, earning number 1 for property taxes and top 10 spots in several other categories. Officials say low taxes, streamlined regulations, and workforce programs are helping Alabama attract major projects, including nearly $2 billion in new investment just last month. Well, 2 new parking options are now available for Pensacola residents. One is called the Senior Pass Permit, which offers discounted parking for senior residents. The other option is the Resident Discount Program. This offers 50% off standard parking rates for Pensacola residents. And if you want more information about city parking permit programs, including eligibility requirements and how to apply, visit parkpensacola.com or call City of Pensacola Parking Management. That number is right there on your screen. Well, still to come, a new game is Mixing Brains and Speed, where players have to solve puzzles and play chess at the exact same time. We'll show it to you. And a little later, the votes have been counted, and after a week of ferocious competition, we're ready to reveal the winner of Fat Bear Week. That's all coming up, and take a look at this. This day in history takes us back to 1908 to a landmark event that would change the shape of America. On this day, October 1st, the Ford Motor Company introduced the Model T, revolutionizing the automobile industry and making cars accessible to the average American for the very first time. Now, the Model T sold for anywhere between $260 and $850. The vehicle also became famous for its unique nickname known as Tin Lizzie. Well, listen to this. A brand new game is bringing together 2 classic challenges.
Rubik's Cube inventor Erno Rubik and world chess champion Judith Polgar teamed up to create Rubik Chess.
All right, the duo hosted the first tournament this week in Budapest.
The competition paired up teams, one player moving pieces on a chessboard while their partner solved a Rubik's Cube. Matches included chess rounds with 3 cube solving breaks where speed could give teams crucial edge. Rubik said it's about using both hands and minds.
Sounds like it. Polgar adds it shows how thinkers can collaborate and have fun doing it. About 50 teams of elementary school students took part in this tournament.
It'll be interesting to see if this catches on. This is such a mental
absolutely
thing.
Yeah.
And it's cool that it's like it's combining the 2 games essentially,
right.
And you get to have the added
right.
time to it. It's cool.
Yeah. Can you play chess or solve a Rubik's Cube?
Kind of chess, Rubik's Cube, no.
Okay. I wish I could do both. I'm bad at both. I don't have like I've
Yeah.
said before, I'm not strategic when it comes to games.
Well,
for
with
some
chess
reason.
is something that you just have to learn.
Absolutely.
There's so
Yeah.
much strategy to learn. You got to sit down and study it first.
It's a
before
craft.
You play.
Everyone in that room is much smarter than me, for
Yes.
sure. Well, good grief. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the gang are 75 years old.
Charles M. Schulz's Peanuts comic began October 2nd, 1950. Just 7 newspapers carried it. For the next 5 decades, Schulz wrote and drew every Peanut strip.
Oh, and today, the beloved comic strip is still featured in thousands of newspapers all around the world. And the Peanuts gang is featured in online syndication, a new streaming series on Apple TV, books, and much more.
Several museums around the country will have exhibits and events this year for the Peanuts' 75th anniversary. First of all, I love the Peanuts comics.
I know you do.
I have some of the original comic books, some first editions of the original comic
really?
books. One of the first editions of the Charlie Brown Christmas printings in these
How sweet is that?
these little books. I love them to death, and it's just one of my favorite things.
Aren't you listening to the soundtrack from the Pumpkin
I will
movie?
always listen to the soundtrack of whatever season because they are so seasonal.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Thanksgiving. I'll listen to Great Pumpkin.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Christmas. The Christmas one is that is on
The
constantly.
Christmas one
isn't it?
comes out on top
Yes.
every single time.
So I love it so much. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the forecast here. On the Fox 10 weather app, a lot you can track here. So this is the big picture. We are generally dry right now. You have all the updates on the tropics as well that you can find there. And, of course, your forecast videos. Rough conditions in the days ahead. The boating forecast on the Fox 10 weather app. Matt's latest update. Our new update will get out there pretty shortly here. But I want to go ahead and go to the current conditions out there. 82 degrees right now. Elsewhere across the area in Mobile, it is 82, 79 downtown, 81 Fairhope, 82 in Evergreen, 80 in Pensacola. Your forecast this afternoon has temperatures getting up to the upper 80s with just a few clouds, and I can't rule out an isolated sprinkle somewhere. Here's what the forecast inland, 87s and 86s pretty much across the board there. Mobile and Baldwin counties, you're going to have 87 in Mobile, 83 in Gulf Shores, Dauphin Island, and in Northwest Florida, Pensacola, 85 degrees, 86 Milton, 86 Crestview, 87 in Niceville. Here's what the forecast looks like over the next 10 hours in Pensacola. You can see a couple of clouds rolling up in the afternoon, partly cloudy, 85 degrees, dropping into the lower 80s and upper 70s after sunset. It should be a comfortable evening. If you're down at the beach, again, low risk of rip currents for now, but we do have a high risk of rip currents coming in, 3 to 4 feet on Thursday, 3 to 5 feet on Friday, so some roughers are by then. Sunrise this morning was at 6:47 a.m. Sunset is at 6:38. We do encourage you to send in your photos on the Fox 10 weather app of that. You can hit to the home page and scroll down. That'll get you to where you can submit those photos. Here's a quick look at the 7-day forecast. You can see those temperatures in the middle 80s. Rain comes in at the end of the week there, Sunday, Monday, into next week as well. We'll have more with a 10-day forecast look coming up shortly. But first, let's take a look outside. Nice conditions on Dauphin Island.
All right, y'all, the annual Fat Bear competition has come to a close and a new chunky champion has been crowned. Patrick Cornell shows us the winner in today's Take a Look at This.
After a full week of voting for the biggest and bulkiest brown bears from Alaska's Katmai National Park, we have our pound-for-pound pre-hibernation hotness, Bear 32, known as Chunk. Fitting. Explore.org crowning the champion on X, writing, Chunk the Hunk, the Chunkster, 32 Chunk, all hail the new king of the Brooks River. The yearly Fat Bear Week contest pits 12 brown bears in a ferocious March Madness-style bracket, allowing the internet to vote to determine which burly bear they like best. In the 2025 final, Chunk took home the victory by a wide margin, winning by more than 30,000 votes. His tail appealing to voters as the roughly 1,200-pound Chunk suffered a broken jaw and had to adapt his eating style to account for the injury. The contest also helps educate people on the importance of brown bears pumping up before hibernating during the harsh Alaskan winter. So while only one champ got a crown, Explore.org notes fat bears are successful bears. So really, they're all winners. And if you're a bear that thinks fishing for your own salmon is beneath you, try this tactic: going to the grocery store. Shoppers in Oro Valley, Arizona spotted a bear dashing down the aisles of a Fry's. Reportedly, employees evacuated the store and the bear eventually found its way out. No word on whether it grabbed some snacks during the trip. Whether you caught your fish in the wild or pre-packaged, we support full bear bellies. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Lots of very fun stories there. Well, it's time for 3 to Know Before You Go today. Pope Leo gives a thumbs up to the faithful from his hometown of Chicago ahead of his weekly general audience. His Holiness interacted with the crowds as he drove through St. Peter's Square in the Pope Mobile. The pontiff blessed babies, and while holding a baby girl, someone yelled "South Side," and the Pope yelled back "South Side, all right," and gave a big thumbs up. And then the U.S. Postal Service is honoring the late President Jimmy Carter with this brand new stamp. The Forever stamp is out today on what would have been the 39th president's 101st birthday. The stamp features an image of Carter from a 1982 painting created by Herbert Adams. Carter died last December at the age of 100. Now, the Postal Service is honoring Carter's years in the White House and his achievements after he left office. He was known as a prominent activist for peace, human rights, and social and economic progress all around the world. And then finally, Uncrustable reveals a new jam-packed protein product. The brand of frozen sandwiches is releasing higher protein PB&J options, including the Bright-Eyed Berry Sandwich and Up and Apple Sandwich. Each flavor contains 12 grams of protein per serving, and the company says the new options also have more fiber and whole grains as well. Protein Uncrustables will be available at Walmart and Target stores later on this month. I'm allergic to peanuts and peanut butter, so I can't have them, but are you an Uncrustables fan? I know a lot of people that are.
I'm just gonna make a sandwich.
You're just gonna make a sandwich?
Well, I don't.
You've never had an Uncrustable?
Yeah, I have. I don't like them.
Really?
I don't think
it's a hot take. I know a lot of people that love them.
I think
I've
that
never
they're
had one
bland.
because I can't, but
anyways. I'm just gonna get ourselves to the forecast before I get attacked. Here we go. A 10% chance of rain all the way through Saturday, and then boom, 50 to 60% chance of rain on Sunday. Yeah, we have a little disturbance that rolls in from the Gulf. Let's take a look at it on the weather map. This is the GFS. You see all that moisture and rain over the Gulf. That moves in during the day on Sunday, and you can see how it slowly progresses from south to north. So even into Monday, we'll have that rain chance. There's that 10-day long-range outlook. We're starting October warm and somewhat dry here. Then we go to that little chance of rain, which could be very beneficial. I don't think we get a ton of it, but just a little bit of something. So we'll take it for Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. If you have Saturday plans, I know a lot of people do. Saturday looks okay, I think. Based on all models right now, Saturday looks okay. A high of 85 degrees as well, so that's not bad.
Not horrible. Could be better, in my opinion. But
yeah,
it's October 1st. We're going to celebrate. We have our fall clothes on. I'm definitely in the seasonal mood. Thanks for spending time with us on Fox 10 Midday. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you at 3 p.m.